Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech News Weekly, your source for all things that happen in technology. This week, I'm Andrew Zarian. Of course, I'm joined by John Bubb, as I am each and every week. How you doing, John?
So are there some weeks that you're not Andrew Zarian?
I am not Andrew Zarian every week. It depends which week we're doing the show.
I got that one.
Do you choose not to be John Bubb? Sometimes you're Suncast.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not. I could be whoever you want me to be. I have many different identities, as you know, John.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
Some of them are pretty scary.
Some of them are very scary, actually, if you think about it. This week, big...
Most of all, that Andrew Zarian one. That was the scariest of all.
He's a freak show, that guy. Jeez. I want to thank everybody tuning in. We got a bunch of people in the chat room. If you're watching live on any of our CDNs, any of the websites that we broadcast on, you can go to gfqlive.tv and chat with us there. We have a great chat room there, about 50 people in there right now. Swamp Rat, Curtis B, Viewer X, Q and X Monkey. So there's a whole bunch of people in there right now hanging out, talking, and they're going to be giving a lot of input. I'm positive of that because you guys hang out and you make me look good when John says something and I have no idea what he's talking about. So I want to thank everybody tuning in to watch us live every week. Hey, John, iPhone 6, it's out. It's happening.
Yeah, you didn't get one?
I'm not, but Jess is. So here's my dilemma with this.
You're not tempted, though?
No, not at all.
Like, did you give any consideration whatsoever to it?
So, honestly, none. None. Not because it's not a great phone. Not because I think it wouldn't meet all my needs. Because I'm already in the iOS experience. I have an iPad. Jess has the iPhone. I have a Mac.
But your Androids aren't all that great. You've had a lot of issues over the years with Android.
Yeah, I'm actually very happy with the OnePlus. Very happy.
Still holding out for you then.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy with the OnePlus for now. I mean, I haven't really had any kind of moments where I don't like it. I mean, the camera's really solid. They put out an update. Initially, it had some issues with the battery, but they put out an update that really made this thing rock solid. I haven't charged this thing in about 2 days. I'm at 47% right now, which is phenomenal. My LG
how big
G2.
Is the screen size on that?
5.5, 5.5.
So it's the same as the 6 Plus.
Same as the 6 Plus. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think 5.5 was the size for the Galaxy Note 2, right? I think that was 5.5.
I thought was 5.1. I looked this up yesterday. The Note 3 was like 5.1 inches.
Was it really?
I believe so. I'll go double check right now.
Let's find out.
Note 3 screen size.
The Note 2, specific specs. Let's find out. I could have swore it was over 5.
5.7 inches.
Okay, so the Note 2 was 5.5. So when I initially had the Note 2 to review, I had a long-term review from AT&T, and I had it for about 8 months. The thing was tremendous. It was way too big for me. And I was going from a 4.7-inch phone to a 5.5-inch phone, and it was just, I did not like it at all. When I moved up to 5.1, this phone, the LG G2 is 5.1, I thought, wow, this is not a bad size. It's a little big, but it's not that bad. Now, I can't use this phone anymore because this is the perfect size.
The 5.5?
The 5.5. And I had initially I didn't like the 5.5 because it was too big. The reason why I like it is because I gradually went to it. I think this is going to be, for people who are going from the 4-inch iPhone 5S to a 5. The iPhone 6 Plus, it's going to be a little alarming.
But I also think, in a way, it's more than just, I think, moving gradually, because a lot of people are saying that, if you want a 5.5 inch one, you want something that's going to be for your hand. You got to be a bigger person. You got to have big hands for it, right? I don't necessarily consider you to be somebody that's
No.
of a larger size.
No, I'm not a big guy. I'm not at all. So
You're an average sized person.
I am. I'm an average sized man. But I have to tell you, I don't think I could go back down. Like if my next phone, whatever my next phone is, right? Because this is really not my. I'm using it now as my daily driver, and that's really bad actually because I have an AT&T pay as you go plan on this, so I could review phones, and I'm burning through my LTE now on this thing because I only have 1 gig. I only have 1 gig of LTE. I'm paying $65 for 1 gig. I either have to go and like get an AT&T plan now, which I didn't want to do, or I'm probably going to switch over to T-Mobile and get more data with T-Mobile because what they do with the pay-as-you-go for T-Mobile, they drop your minutes down to like 50 minutes or 100 minutes, and you can put it up to 2 gigs or 3 gigs. But for my next phone on Verizon, which I'm probably up for an upgrade next year, I don't know what I'm going to do. I may go with Windows Phone. I may go with the biggest Windows Phone that there is. Which I don't know what that'll be.
I went from a 20-inch 16:9 monitor to a 24-inch 16:9 monitor. And my first impression was like, this thing is gigantic. Now here it is, a year later, and I'm like, this is not that big anymore. I'm completely used to it. So I think a lot of it is just, having to get used to it. You've had several different devices and a gradual warm up to get to that.
Yeah.
So the shock factor wasn't there initially.
Yeah.
Because you had such a small incremental change over time, whereas people moving from a 4-inch phone to a 5.5-inch phone, the shock value is going to be a little bit more dramatic.
So last night I went after we recorded the show. It was a long day. I did 5 shows yesterday, which is tremendous if you think about it. I did What the Tech, What the Talk, Twerk. Thank you, John. Actually, you know what? John doesn't like to give me credit a lot of times, but he gives me serious credit on Thursdays when I'm actually doing 5 shows, and he's like, I don't even know how you do this.
Yeah, I
like,
posted 1.
What? You posted 1, yeah. But
yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot to do. So I was exhausted. She's like, you want to go to press for a drink? I'm like, yeah, let's go for a drink. And I ran into a bunch of people there, and I was talking to them. They were asking me about the iPhone. They were asking me.
You really need to do like a Cheers spoof.
It is like Cheers. I walk in and everyone's like, Andrew.
You really need to do some sort of spoof on that, college humor type.
Yeah, I really should actually. So when I went there, everybody was talking about the iPhone, and people were asking like, are you getting it? Did you order it? And one of the girls that works there, she's like, I actually ordered it. Mine is coming tomorrow. I'm like, which one did you get? The regular or the Plus? She's like, oh no, I got the Plus. I'm really excited because she's going from an iPhone 4S.
Ew.
Okay. She has an iPhone. I'm like, and she's tiny. So I go to her, I'm like, do you know how big the screen? She's like, yeah, it's like 5 inches, 5.5 inches. I'm like, do you know how big that is? She's like, no, not a clue. So I showed her this. And she's like, wow, that's actually and she holds it up against the 4S. She's like, wow, this is actually pretty big. I'm like, oh no, this is small compared to the 5.5. I'm like, this one is the size of the iPhone. She's like, oh my God, I made a mistake. She was so caught off guard by the screen size of this thing.
It's one of those things that I believe most people will get used to over time. It's going to be shockingly large at first, just like I thought the same with my 24-inch monitor after having a 20-inch monitor.
Yeah.
But I think, over time you'll get used to it.
I think so. I think this is going to be...
You'll learn how to... Part of it is learning how to handle a larger device.
See, Jessica, on the other hand, does not want the bigger phone. She doesn't even want the 4.7-inch phone, which is crazy to me, right? Totally. It's really like nutty that she's like, nope, I don't want it. I'm like, you're going to get a free upgrade. They're going to just give them your 5, and they're going to give you a 6. And she's like, no, I don't want to get rid of this. So I'm going to have to convince her some more to give me the phone, and I'll go do it for her. And I have to promise her that she'll get used to the screen size. It's not going to be a problem for her. But I think a lot of people initially, they're going to be caught off guard by the screen size. Now, Paul brought up an interesting thing on What the Tech, and I want to get your opinion on this. What are they going to do with the next generation? Because you could still go and get a 4-inch iPhone. They're still selling the 5S, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what are you going to do? Are they going to have a 4-inch model forever? Are they going to have like the iPhone whatever as a 4-inch model? Or are they going to totally eliminate that screen size?
I'd imagine that they're going to eliminate that screen size eventually.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
Much like they finally pulled the plug on the iPod Classic. I mean, they might keep it around for a couple, 2-3 more years, but I think eventually they're going to phase that out. There's no way they're going to keep that thing longer than 3 years. They didn't even keep the iPad 2 longer than 4 years.
Well, the iPad 2's gone now.
Yeah.
So,
thank God.
Yeah, so you can't buy a $399, iPad anymore. The iPad 2, by the way, I installed iOS 8 on that thing. It is a little long in the tooth. It's time. It's gotten a little sluggish, that thing. I mean, I'm comparing it to my iPad Air that I have right here. The performance on the thing is tremendous compared to the iPad 2. So it's time to kind of go away from that. But
I think it was a bit of a cop out that Apple, starting with the 5, went with a 4-inch screen instead of going full hog with the 4.7-inch.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a slow, conversion over to people, but I'm curious to see how, out of all the sales numbers, John, I'm very curious to see how many of those are 6 pluses and how many of them are 6s. 4 million pre-orders in one day. That's tremendous. In 24 hours. That's not even adding up until, you talk about the pre-order number. Pre-order is anything prior to the release date. So how many 6 pluses were sold instead of 6s? I'm going to guess it's going to be shockingly even.
Yeah, I think it would be foolish to expect anything higher than last year.
How many? Do you remember how many sold?
I think it was somewhere around 9 million, 8-9 million.
Is that with the pre-release?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering. They'll probably release a number on Monday. They'll do weekend
I think
numbers.
It would be foolish to think anything else because you can hope that it's going to be bigger, but I would not be surprised if they just matched last year's records.
Oh, I think it's going to be more.
It could be, but I think it would be foolish not to expect that it could be lower than what one might expect.
Yeah, I'm right now, if you were to order the 6 Plus, you're looking at about a month delay. So they are sold out on this thing.
Yeah. It is possible that you might still be able to go to a store and pick one up.
iPhone 5 had 2 million pre-orders in the first 24 hours, and 5 and 5S had around 9 million after week 1. So, this is going to... I'm convinced that this is going to break about 12 million. But we'll find out. I'm curious about that number.
It has potential too, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't.
Now, do you think, John, that we're going to see a flock of Android users jumping back to iOS? Or first-time iOS users because of this?
That's so hard to gauge. I think there's definitely going to be a market there for people that moved over to Android for the bigger screens. I think that's just a given. I think there's a part of the Android market now that, because iPhone never had a large screen larger than 4 inches, those people that needed or wanted a larger screen had no other choice than to go with Android. Now they actually have an option. If they wanted to, they can move back to iPhone with a larger screen. So there is going to be a set of Android users moving from Android to iPhone.
Yeah, someone in our chat room is actually saying that he's jumping back to iOS.
There's no telling how many people will.
Yeah. I am.
But there's definitely going to be people.
There's going to be a lot of people, in my opinion. Listen, if I wasn't doing this for a living, I most likely would go to an iPhone. I don't see a reason why I would use Android. I would go to... I would be using an iPhone. I have an iPad. I have a MacBook Pro. I just need one more to become, a total Apple guy. The trifecta, John. It's a trifecta of it. So iPhone is out. iPhone 6 is out. iPhone 6 Plus is out. If you stood in line, I feel sorry for you. I drove by the Apple store a couple of days ago.
Oh, you drove?
Well, Jessica did. Jessica drove. And there was a line.
You rode by it.
There was a line a couple days ago. These people were camping out. It's insane. It's a phone, people. Who cares?
You know what's insane though? Even more insane than, standing 2 days in line would be for you to actually take a trip from United States to Australia in order to be one of the first worldwide to
Did
get
somebody
an
do
iPhone
that?
6.
Did somebody do that?
They did. They were here in California, pre-ordered the phone and had it shipped to store and picked it up in Australia.
Yeah, how much
They
money do those people
flew
have?
6,000 miles to Australia just so that they could be one of the first to get the iPhone 6.
God.
So, and by that comparison, 2 days in line is not that bad.
So you did not upgrade to iOS 8, right? I kind of want to move over to iOS 8. You have not upgraded?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
It's one of those things where I never do it the day of, just because knowing how crammed the servers are going to be.
Yeah.
Not only that, but this year they're using their own CDN and they're doing a rollout, which is very interesting. It's actually a much slower iOS 8 adoption right now, simply because they're doing this slower rollout where they're actually putting people into a queue.
Yeah.
Before you can actually upgrade. While yes, you can see the update is there on your phone, and you can say, yes, I want to upgrade, you actually get put into a queue by Apple, and they determine when you'll actually get a chance to upgrade.
So I did not have that problem on my iPad and both the iPads because I did it the second it came out. But when Jess went to do hers, it was late. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I went to go, set hers up. And it put me in a queue to download it. And it said, we will let you know when it's preparing to download. They queued me up for about an hour. So I was queued for an hour. And then it was like a 14-hour download after that.
Gee.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, obviously, I wasn't in a rush. It didn't matter, but
oh yeah, we'll download it in an hour. Okay, so it'll be downloaded in an hour, and 30 minutes after that, we'll have it all done.
So the other
wait
problem,
14 hours for it to actually download.
The other issue is if you have a 16 gig iPhone, I don't know anybody with a 16 gig iPhone that did not have to remove a whole bunch of apps and videos and photos to do this update. It requires 4.2 or 4.5. I don't know the number exactly.
I thought it was 2.
No, it requires at least 4 gigs free.
Wow.
It's gigantic. I mean, that's gigantic for a 16 gig.
The download itself is 1 gigabyte, almost 1 gigabyte.
Yeah, the download.
So I can see 2 gigabytes, but I'm not understanding the 4 gigabyte.
It requires 4 gigs.
And I'm not even sure how that's really possible on a 16
and
gigabyte
it's more,
iPhone.
and it's more on an iPad. It's more on an iPad.
That's just ridiculous.
So it was brutal actually. That I had to sit there and I just did a total wipe. I blew away the iPads and just started over. But it's tremendous, the space that it requires. That's the only problem.
Curtis B in the chat room says that only over-the-air updates need all that stuff removed. If you did it through the iTunes application, it doesn't need that much free room.
Okay, so I did it through the through the iPad. I didn't connect it to the computer to do it. I mean, that's tremendous. So my overall experience with iOS 8 is exactly what it was with iOS 7. It's nice. I really enjoy the family sharing. That's the biggest plus, in my opinion. I really don't
I'm still not sure exactly how all that stuff's supposed to work. Like, I understand the app sharing part of it.
Okay.
I don't understand necessarily the photo sharing aspect.
Okay, so it's not like they have access to your photos. What it is like when you go into your photo roll, so you go to photos, and then albums.
Which it doesn't have anymore, by the way, and a lot of people were very surprised that you don't have a camera roll anymore on iOS 8.
Yeah, no more camera roll. So if you go to, I don't have a lot of photos here, so if you go to shared, so it's going to give you, I guess, the albums that you have shared, right? So you have activity, you have like, I have trips, like the trip to California, and then I actually have something that you shared with me, the hometown welcome.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and then I have
American Idol thing.
I have something that Radio Edit Common Law shared with me, and then there's a family button. So you click, it says family shared with you. So you could click on that and then add photos in that family. So you share those photos with the people in your family plan. It's actually done well. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about that. The only issue I have with the family sharing is that iTunes Match is not shareable. Okay, so if you have iTunes Match, a lot of families have been using the same iTunes account. I mean, that's been the problem. That's exactly what they said during their keynote when they brought up the family sharing. That you no longer have to use one account with every device. Everybody could have their individual account and you have everything accessed, except iTunes Match. So here's where my problem lies. The account that I used was Jessica's email. That was the one that we had set up for her for iTunes. So all my MP3s were bought on that. No problem. The MP3s, anything you bought in iTunes, it's shareable. That's fine. I also had iTunes Match. So I had taken all my MP3s, about 8,000 MP3s, synced it with iTunes Match, and never reinstalled it on my computer. I don't have iTunes Match, so I've lost access to all those songs. Okay, understandable. But now it's such a pain in the butt for me to get those songs. I now have to go back to Jessica's computer, the one that she has right now synced with it, download everything, put it on a portable drive, because I don't have this. It's in the cloud. I don't have it.
Yeah.
Put it on a portable drive, plug it into my Mac, download them to my Mac, or have iTunes recognize it, and then sync that to iCloud because now I have access to it.
That's weird. That's convoluted.
Brian
That's
Monroe
very
says,
convoluted.
Andrew, you need to set up your devices using iTunes account that was using iTunes Match. Yes, but I can't use iTunes Match because I don't have it. It's Jessica's account. You can't use iTunes Match is not part of the family plan. You have to buy your own iTunes Match, which I have no problem with. But how am I going to get the stuff that I had sunk with Jessica's iTunes Match? I can't.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with iTunes Match. It's silly. Why wouldn't they allow you to share it? Charge me $10 more.
I wish there were a few more articles explaining this entire family sharing part of iOS 8, because I've seen a lot of articles about iOS 8, but I've not seen, I don't think, one single article explaining in depth this family sharing stuff in iOS 8, which I think sounds like a very interesting feature, but everybody seems to be, not talking about it whatsoever.
So again, I'm not talking about buying music. The buying is shareable. The iTunes Match is not shareable. That's the problem. This also includes ongoing subscription purchase initially by iTunes Match. It's not doing it. It's not. I don't see it.
Like, would I also still have the option, if I wanted to buy an application, to use my own credit card? Or is there only one credit card tied to the entire family?
I don't know. I think it's one credit card. Or maybe you could add a second credit card. That's the whole thing.
I mean, that's one of those things where it's all right. Well, how exactly does this and this work? Like they put out the description, like Support Hero in the chat room put it, but it's just in a way very vague. Oh yeah, it does this, and this, and this. Okay, well, can you explain in these circumstances? Can I do this and this?
Yeah. So it's a little weird, and there's going to be a lot of these questions here. The chat room is going crazy because they're saying that I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong.
I'll give you another example.
Yeah.
Let's say there's one of those new games on iOS that everybody loves playing, this Vikings game. If one person buys the Viking game, can they have multiple accounts with that Viking game so that each person can have their own account on that game?
I think if you have an account on the game that you buy, that's local, so yes.
I mean, it's just one of those things that, in a way, you kind of have to think about. Like, is this going to work the way that I need it to work?
Yeah, listen, we're going to have a lot of these questions, and I think they're going to improve it over time, but that's the only issue that I have is the iTunes Match. It's not it's not working for me with the family sharing.
You should write an email to Apple.
I should, and maybe Steve Jobs will get back to me.
Tim Cook.
No, Steve Jobs. I have more of a chance that Steve Jobs is going to get back to me than Tim Cook. Why don't you, John? Why don't you go into a story?
Yeah, let's see. I want to pick one of these here that I want to talk about, but I got to bring up my notes real quick. Let's talk about the Microsoft job cuts that came out the other day. This happened, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. This just happened. They cut another 2,100 jobs in its latest round of layoffs. They've already cut about 13,000 employees in recent layoffs. So this is very big news that they're cutting yet another 2,100 jobs.
Yeah, and it broke yesterday. I mean, it was breaking news yesterday that I think 700 and something of them are from
Washington.
The Redmond offices, and then everything else is spread out. But this is the interesting thing here. Is it over? Is the layoffs over?
Nadella said that the company would cut a total of about 18,000 jobs.
Yeah.
So they're only around 15,000 right now. So they've got another at least 3,000 to go. If they're trying to hit that magic 18,000 number.
Listen, is this necessarily a bad thing? I mean, it's awful for the people, obviously, that are losing their jobs over this. But the company was really bloated. It was inflated. It was bloated. And this is not a sign that the company's not doing well. I'll tell you that. It's a sign that the company is cutting back and they're making it smaller.
I mean, there could be some downsides to this. Certain parts of Microsoft may be stifled in some ways. Like they were talking about when their research divisions is basically shuttered at this point. One of the research centers in California, I think they said.
Yeah. I'm, it's bad timing.
Silicon Valley Research Arm is what it's called.
It's bad timing considering that they're going to have a big announcement.
But at the same time, I'm still, like you said, I'm excited to see that, Nadella isn't just sitting on his hands doing nothing. He's looking for ways that he can improve Microsoft. He's not just going to cut people just to cut people. He's gonna cut people to make Microsoft better, and I think in a way that's needed to make Microsoft move forward in a time when you got to be a little bit more agile.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
So, to talk about Microsoft? I don't think you have it in the notes, but did you hear what Paul said yesterday about the Microsoft announcement on the 30th?
No, remind me what he said.
So it's not a unveiling for the consumer; it's a enterprise unveiling.
Really?
Yeah. So the features that they're unveiling, so it will be released in early October. The preview, the technical preview to Windows 9 is going to be released in early October. So this is the announcement for that. And they are not going to talk about the consumer level at all. And this build that they're releasing for the first technical preview, it's going to be all enterprise. The consumer stuff is going to come later down the line.
Thing.
It's not a bad thing, but the consumer stuff is going to come down the line in January where they will hold another announcement. So it's not, I think a lot of people thought that this is going to be the big announcement for Windows 9. It's not. This is just an announcement for enterprise to kind of cater to them and keep them happy.
But considering in a way that enterprise could care less about Windows 8, I think this is a very important thing for Microsoft to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's very important.
Because at this point, I don't think anybody in the enterprise is really looking to move and use Windows 8. It's just too much of a headache. There's just not enough there for enterprise users at this point, which Windows 9 is hopefully going to, fix.
Yeah, Windows 9 is going to fix a lot, but the only thing I'm worried is that is the perception of Windows damaged to the in eyes of the average consumer? Is it damaged to them because of Windows 8? Like when they see Metro, like with the advertising, right? The marketing for Windows 8, you never saw desktop. It was all the Metro UI, the new UI. Are they going to change that with the marketing of this one, where they kind of like the Metro stuff is secondary and it's all about the desktop?
They might do that, but I think in a way, if you compare this to, the Windows 8 is kind of like, the Windows Vista of this era. You know what I'm saying? So in that regards, it's not that they can't come back from it. It's just that they might have a little bit more of a struggle to get to where they were with Windows 7. It was just one of their off releases in a way. They tried to do too much, bit off more than they could chew, and now they're walking things back and making things right.
Yeah. I'm hoping that this release is going to get people excited again.
They basically went too far to one side.
Oh God, they went to an
now
extreme.
They're walking it back to more of a center.
I mean, listen, I'm an enthusiast. You're an enthusiast. We did not go over.
No,
we never went over.
No, and it's not that we didn't try. We sure used the heck out of Windows 8. We tested it, and
did I put it on a production machine? No. I never even thought about it. And that's bad, considering I'm one of these people that can't wait to get the operating system and use it. I got it, and I used it for about a couple months, and then I just said, okay, see you later.
In all reality, do you think that enterprise users give a crap about that entire Metro interface?
No.
Or do they want this entire desktop interface?
No, they want desktop, but the problem with enterprise is that they're just getting ready to leave XP. You know what I mean? Like they've left. Most of them should have left, but there's still many on XP.
I'm shocked at how many Windows XP computers are still out there.
It's shocking.
That part of that too is the fact that these people that create the programs that these businesses use aren't updating these programs to work on anything other than Windows XP. It's not necessarily Microsoft's fault that these businesses are still using Windows XP. A lot of the stuff that they use only works on Windows XP because only that software that the manufacturer made only works on Windows XP. And until they update it to work with something other than XP, those businesses are not going to move to anything other than Windows XP.
I don't know. Windows 9 is going to be a great example of Microsoft kind of going backwards and giving people what they want. But in the long run, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing for the long run?
It's very much a parallel between, moving from Windows XP to Vista to 7, where everybody loved Windows XP. Windows Vista came out. It was not great when it first came out. By the end of just before Windows 7 came out, Vista had finally got most of its problems figured out, and everybody loved Windows 7. I think we're going through the same type of phase right now where everybody loved Windows 7. Windows 8 came out. There was a lot of mixed feelings there. That they smoothed out a lot of stuff since the launch, and now they're going to come out with Windows 9, which most people will probably love.
Yeah. The desktop looks nice. I like the integration of the Metro UI into the desktop, and that's initially what they should have done. It's not perfect. It's not what everybody wants, but it's a step closer to exactly what we want. And I'm almost convinced if that UI is what we got with Windows 8, nobody would be complaining.
Yeah.
Nobody would be complaining. So
I kind of have the same feeling.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. John, why don't you pick another one?
I kind of want to touch on this Clear Channel iHeartMedia story. This came out earlier this week, and this is actually really big news. Everybody knows Clear Channel. They have a whole bunch of, radio stations worldwide, basically. You know them. They do the iHeartRadio stuff, and that's their newest brand. So I guess following their success of the iHeartRadio brand, they're rebranding Clear Channel as iHeartMedia. So any of the radio stations are now going to become iHeartMedia stations.
Yeah.
A lot of this is just due to the name change that they're looking to make a change in their branding so that they appear much younger.
Yeah, listen, that's what they have to do to kind of radio is it's a slow death, obviously, but they are not connecting with the youth. And iHeartRadio has done very well, if you think about it. It's done tremendous. It's probably the most successful
people behind
one.
That brand had made some very good decisions.
Yeah, I mean, we're on iHeartRadio. I think
in a way they're looking to, Clear Channel is one of those old world media type of, sounding names and businesses that, everybody's, you guys have been around forever type of deal. Whereas you have this iHeartRadio thing, which is fresh, new, and hip. And that's what they want, to be known as, not this old world media company.
Yeah, and they have to slowly evolve. I think this is just another example of a company, a terrestrial, brand going over to digital. This
Yeah.
we also heard story that Satellite was looking to get into this game and kind of convert into an internet-based station. It's smart. They have to do it, but let's see what happens.
It's in a way, IBM moving from I think
Yeah.
they were called International Business Machines or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Now they're just called IBM.
So
I mean, nobody calls them International Business Machines anymore. They just
I
call it
actually
IBM.
I actually do. It's the only way I refer to that company. Apple possibly reports came out that Apple is allegedly planning an October 21st event to debut Yosemite and possible new iPad Mini, an iPad. Do you think they're going to do it?
The sixth generation iPad and a third generation iPad Mini.
So this is fascinating because they just held an event.
Yeah.
And now they're getting ready a month later for a second event.
I can't remember if they did the same thing last year or not.
I'm trying to think. I know that they did something where it was two close events.
Yeah.
But this is,
it might have been like April and June or something like that.
Is your cat trying to get in?
This is yes. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
He says he wants to see me. He's lonely.
Oh, poor little guy. So,
but yeah, go ahead.
They Yosemite. I have the latest beta. They just released beta 3 for the public preview, and
This
it's
is
pretty
fascinating.
good.
It's fascinating that they haven't launched this yet. 'Cause normally they launch it same time as iOS 8.
Yeah, around the time. They've been going later and later with this release.
But the fact that we don't really even have a launch date yet for Yosemite.
Yeah, and you know what? It's still buggy. So it's still buggy. I mean, this one is much better than the previous beta, but up until last week, the thing was I would not have recommended it as your daily driver. I would not have recommended on a machine that you use every day. This one is much better, but there's still a lot of app compatibility issues. We're not going to see the new photo app that's replacing iPhotos for a while. I mean, we're not going to see that till January. So it's a lot of things that are not complete. And it's a first for them to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you go into another
By the way,
story?
it's very interesting that they're not saying much about Yosemite because they also pulled the health kit from iOS 8. That's been delayed now.
No, it's there. Well, actually, is it? Because Jessica has the health on her phone.
I think they pulled some aspects of it though.
They might have.
That there was a bug with health kit that they decided that they were going to hold off on part of health kit until they figure it out and launch it with Yosemite.
So here's my problem with HealthKit. You need compatible devices to work with HealthKit. So I was explaining this to somebody that they thought all these features are going to be on the phone because they had read it, and I told them, I'm like, no, you need devices that are going to work with
third-party apps in HealthKit that were pulled.
Okay, the third-party apps, but you need another piece of hardware, to kind of monitor all this stuff. The phone isn't going to do it. You need a device. They had to understand that this functions with other things. That's the whole concept behind it.
Yeah.
All right, John, pick something, and then we'll do our picks.
Oh, I get to pick again?
Yeah, it's all about you.
So why don't we talk about the biggest story of the week in terms of games?
Okay.
And it's Microsoft buying Minecraft and its development studio for $2.5 billion.
Yeah, Mojang.
That's right. Microsoft has bought Minecraft.
So the thing is a powerhouse. All the kids, it's all the rage with the kids. It's humongous, actually. Minecraft is humongous. I wonder what they're planning on doing with this. Plans to continue making Minecraft available across all platforms.
There's this hip game that neither of us really play or care about.
No, listen, my brothers don't play it either. I know a lot of people play it and they really enjoy it, and it requires some brain. You can't be an idiot to play because you're actually building stuff.
Oh, so we're too stupid.
I guess so, for me especially. But Microsoft is planning on making it available on all platforms as it is today: PC, iOS, Android, Xbox, PlayStation.
Yeah, supposedly they're not going to change anything. But the sad part of this, though, is that the main team there, Notch, Carl, and Jacob, are leaving Minecraft. They're no longer going to be a part of Minecraft. They're going to go do something else. But this is an awkward story in a way where, originally Notch, from my understanding, was not very big on being picked up or acquired by any company, especially a company as large as Microsoft. And yet, here we have that deal. They're actually being acquired.
Yeah.
With the exception of themselves.
Well, he had
they want to
said,
go and do their smaller things.
I mean, he had claimed that he's not a real game developer, and he never anticipated that Minecraft would become this big. And it was actually becoming overwhelming for him to deal with. So I could kind of understand that, really, because who anticipated this game to become this blockbuster, this phenomenon at this point?
Yeah. So I'm just trying to understand, why does Microsoft want Minecraft?
Yeah, why? Well, they want it to be part of their property value. They want it behind their real estate. It's a successful game, and they know that they could monetize it more than these guys can.
Yeah, I guess according to the Engadget article, a lot of this just has to do with money, in the fact that over the last couple of years, Minecraft has made like $85 billion.
Insane.
So spending $2.5 billion to acquire Minecraft is nothing. They'll have that in a couple months.
Yeah, it's an investment.
It's still, in a way, it's in a way kind of an odd pairing, because a lot of people that do love Minecraft aren't necessarily those type of people that would be necessarily happy about a company the size of Microsoft buying Minecraft. Because even if that happens, there's still that chance that Microsoft is going to screw something up with Minecraft that people really love.
Interesting. So how many people from the team are actually going over?
They didn't say, but there's that main group of people, the co-founder, the CEO, and Notch, that are not moving over to Microsoft. They're going to stay doing their own thing aside from Minecraft. They're going to do something completely separate. It might not even be game related, they said.
Wow. Well, good for them. They're sticking to their guns. They're not selling out, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they sold everything else.
You know what? That's a lot of money.
Apparently, he was just. They were all kind of overwhelmed with the success of it, I guess, and that was one of the reasons that they sold Minecraft.
Well, let's see what Microsoft does with it. John, let's do our picks of the week. What do you say?
Sure.
This is the part of the show where we talk about a product, a website, anything that we liked this week. If you have a pick of the week, send it our way. Maybe we might feature it on the show. John, what is your pick of the week?
So the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus just came out, and there are some awesome reviews out there. But I want to focus on one particular review by a guy by the name of Austin Mann. He did a review on the camera itself. This is a guy that is a professional photographer. He does travel photography. And if you go to his website, austinmann.com, that's man with two N's at the end. He has some awesome shots on there. He went to Iceland to actually compare the iPhone 5S with the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. And even though it has this 8 megapixel camera, the same camera as in the iPhone 5S, judging by his shots, you can see that there's a clear difference in the 5S versus the 6 and 6 Plus.
Wow, look at this one. So this is the 5S.
You can see it. If you look at that waterfall, there's a lot less noise. There's more dynamic range. The colors are better. There's some couple other shots there that are just absolutely amazing, and you can clearly see when you're looking at the full resolution that there's definitely a difference between the 5S and the 6 and 6 Plus. He uses a rig where he could have the cameras as close together, so you got a very good fair comparison between the cameras, ruling out anything else. And even the video camera stuff, he said, was just absolutely amazing. Everything you see basically on this guy's review was shot with a 6 or 6 Plus.
How did he get a 6 Plus so quick?
I'm not sure. I'm assuming this has some sort of deal with, Apple to do this.
Yeah.
But
these are beautiful
you
shots.
can tell. Which one was it? If you look at the foggy picture of him at a river, And if you look at the side-by-side comparison of the 5S unedited with the 6 Plus unedited, you can just see how much clearer, because he actually goes through and tests the focus pixels, excuse me, and they do a remarkable job. There's another video where he's taking a video of him holding a rock right in front of the lens and then throws it into the sea or whatever, and it refocuses really quickly. Whereas the 5S never does actually refocus after having something right in front of the lens.
Hmm.
So you can see there's some clear improvements, and especially with exposure control, being able to actually control the exposure, you can get much better shots that you desire from the camera.
I mean, listen, we all know, if you know technology a little bit, we know that it's not about the megapixels, it's about the sensor and the processing that goes behind it. I've seen 16 megapixel cameras that absolutely are awful. They're disgusting to look at. This looks great. I mean, these photos are unbelievable.
Yeah. But then again, he's a professional, so of course they're gonna look pretty good. But you can tell just by his comparison, his side-by-side comparison, that, you know, the 6 and 6 Plus camera are improved over the 5S, which is still the same megapixel.
Yeah. Very nice.
So I had that same thought. I was like, you know, it's got the same 8 megapixels. Is it really going to be that much better? But when you're looking at the full resolution, you can see there's a clear difference between the two cameras.
Yeah. Curtis B says the exposure setting and the other ones are in iOS 8 for the older phones too. So that's great. So
the focus pixels are unique to the 6 and 6 Plus.
Which that goes, I mean, the focus pixel is a huge help.
Absolutely.
Still a great, phenomenal camera. Great job.
Yeah, if you want to check it out, go to awesomeman.com. That's man with 2 N's.
Awesome. So, John, my pick is also for iOS and new iPhones. It's SwiftKey. For people who don't know what SwiftKey is, it's a phenomenal company that makes a keyboard for Android. I've been using SwiftKey for years now, and they're getting really, really good at, you know, predicting, and you set up an account and your information goes to the cloud and it knows what you're going to type. It's actually done really well. Now that it is on iPhone and iPad, I installed it on my iPad and I'm just starting to play around with it, and it's great. I do want to say that the original keyboard on this, they've upgraded the keyboard a little bit, so it's a little bit better than previous, but SwiftKey is phenomenal. If you go to the App Store, and this is why I want to feature this, if you put in SwiftKey, there's hundreds of add-ons, hundreds of keyboards now on the market. Be sure to download the right one, because yesterday, a ton of people bought a keyboard for 99 cents because they thought it was SwiftKey, and it wasn't. And it was this awful keyboard. I mean, I could tell you so many people were buying this thing and then complaining that it's garbage on iOS. So be careful which one you're buying. And SwiftKey is free. Doesn't cost anything, as far as I know.
Yeah, they said they had like 24 million downloads or whatever in the first 24 hours, or they had 1 million downloads in the first 24 hours.
Yeah, SwiftKey is free. It used to be a paid app. There was SwiftKey and SwiftKey Pro, but now it's totally free for everybody. And the way that they make the money is on the theme, so you can buy a theme depending on which one you want. But it's a great keyboard, and you should try it. At least try it out. They have instructions on how to enable it. It's not as simple as downloading it and just calling it a day and you have this keyboard. You got to actually disable the original keyboard and activate this one. SwiftKey.com. Just go to the App Store and check it out. That's it.
Awesome.
John, any plugs? Why don't you do the plugs?
You can follow me and Andrew on Twitter. I'm at Suncast on Twitter, and he's at Andrew Zarian. You can also follow GFQ Network on Twitter at GFQ Network. We'd love it if you follow us. We love talking to you guys on there. Also, check us out on our website at gfqnetwork.com. You can find all our shows on there. Anything you want to watch, it's on there. If you want to check out our contribute page, we have awesome ways that you can contribute. One of the ways is through Patreon. We have a Patreon campaign for What the Tech, but that's kind of, our big draw there. So if you want to support Tech News as Weekly, you can do that through What the Tech. And you also have Amazon that you can support us through. Anytime you buy something on Amazon, you can use our referral link, and we'll get just a little percentage of whatever it is that you buy. So if you go to Amazon.com or Amazon, what is it, gfq.co/Amazon?
Yeah.
But then we also have Canada and United Kingdom links as well if you go to our contribute page on gfqnetwork.com.
Yeah. And that's it, guys. We will all see you next week. Bye-bye for now.